Yep, and the cool thing is that you can use all the energy on the line. So you don't have to grab up here to be effective. In fact, you are more effective. So see how not, but watch. I'm way more effective with more line. Sorry, bud.
Right.
It's okay. You needed to back up anyway.
So yeah, I mean, I'm right-handed, but I mean,
yeah, we're gonna need to become ambidextrous.
All right,
but it does not matter right now this time because you're asking to just back straight.
Okay.
But there are going to be times where changing your hand is going to be very important. Which hand's holding the support and which hand's leading.
Okay. I see. So I might be one of the stronger hands to lead.
Yep. So if you think that you have a better chance of communicating your wiggle with your right hand, then I would
gonna hold the tail.
Then the left hand would hold the support. But you have to be prepared if you need to get in there and extra influence your support. That either you can do it with your left hand or you can quickly get your right hand involved because you don't want to change the ask.
I think I'm more comfortable this way right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first it's the look, then it's a gentle wiggle, it's a suggestion, because this is you're just introducing the support. Like, hey, you're not hearing me? Do you not know? Let me help you with that. And then it's going to be like, did you not hear me?
Right. Okay. So is there a way to get him focused differently?
When you are the leader, have you ever seen a herd of horses where the lead horse picks his head up and looks and everybody goes, oh?
He should immediately be
focused.
As
soon as you stand, like every time I move in a strong way, he looks at me.
Right at you, yeah.
And that's because he's like, oh, I better pay attention to what she's saying.
All right, so if I'm mouse way, and I just go like this.
Yeah, and then be prepared to start the wiggle and don't come, you're not going to, instead of taking your steps, instead of moving in physically, you're going to move the rope physically. So you're going to stay right where you are.
My body language, and then
and then give him the impression like, get out of here. Like,
okay. All right. But he wants to look at you.
It's okay.
Right.
Good. And like I said, instead of using your feet, it's okay. So I'm going to tell you a little trick. Until you catch yourself doing it, I can't fix it.
Right.
It has to be you have to say, I felt myself do that. And like now we're on the track of you being able to not do it.
Okay.
But I can talk to I'm blue in the face and it won't work. All right. So, yep. So see how you walked in? Good. So, but instead of walking. Yep.
Okay.
So the only time you're going to take that step at him is when you have to get to that level of where you're coming in for the snap.
Okay.
So until you feel like he's just ignoring you, don't even bother stepping in.
Okay.
But I think he's doing very well for having just learned this.
Okay.
Yeah, I allow scratches.
Okay.
I let them actually, have their own feelings.
So it's hard for me to not walk in.
Yep.
Is that okay? Is that enough?
Yep. And then I'm going to show you how you're going to move him away. So you're going to do it like you're dealing cards, right? So I'm going to tell him to back up. So I'm just going to let him know that I'm kind of meaning it. And then I'm going to tell him. And then I'm going to tell him to keep backing up by acting like I'm dealing cards. So this hand's dealing cards, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to let him know it's nothing personal.
Okay.
Oh boy.
Are we bringing him closer?
Yeah, we're gonna bring him back in through here, and we're gonna back him back out. And your goal, I was showing you like how I would do it, so that way you can keep backing him away from you, and you don't have to keep going into his space.
Okay.
So, because the goal.
Draw him forward.
Okay.
All right. So now I'm at a loss with backing him up and whatever.
Yep. So now you have to ask him to. I would send him this way. So what you would do is, in this case where his face is, you would point to like your electric charger, and you would tell him to go that way. And when he turns his nose, he'll then turn his neck, and then he'll show you that shoulder. When he shows you this shoulder is when you would put support with the end of the line towards the shoulder, but you wouldn't swing it at him. You would just support it. You would say, I need you to follow your nose now.
Okay. Can you show me?
So when you tell a horse to if you tell him straight out like this, he's going to come to you. If you watch where that line goes, he's going to come straight to you.
Right.
So I point like to that birdhouse.
Okay.
I'm not influencing his nose. I'm suggesting with this finger where I want you to go.
He goes that way. Okay.
This has nothing to do with it. I'm not going to tell him by pulling on him. Okay. So there, he showed me his nose, his neck, and then I'm going to influence the shoulder. I'm going to tell him, I'm going to put a block there. Block there. And then I'm going to tell his hind end to yield. And then I'm going to tell him to back up. Back. And I'm going to hind yield him that way. Hind yield him again. Tell him forward is not the right answer. Back. Back. Good. Hind yield him slightly again. Just see if I can turn the volume down a little bit so he doesn't do quite as much. Wait. Back. Back. Hind yield him slightly again. You should be paying attention. Good. So here's where I'm dealing my cards. Good.
Well, that was very good.
And then you just relax.
Yeah. And
So-
let him relax.
So there's probably a deer or something over there that he's caught his attention on. So then I just made my sport get louder. I didn't do anything to him,
Yeah.
right? So I made a whirly with this, so that's to say, hey, you better be paying attention because it's about to touch you.
Right.
So now he's in a great position to show you this for real. So I would point at that birdhouse if I was going to ask him to go that way. I'd point at the first flowering tree or your no trespassing sign or the electric fence sign or whatever it is, if I was to tell him to go that way. The idea is you want him, so you're making a V off of him.
Hand signals. Right. Okay.
The idea is you want him to go, huh? You want him
What
to
are
look
you
over his
looking at?
shoulder.
Right. Okay.
Because you want, in doing that, his nose now points in the direction you want.
And he can start
He'll
to.
show you the neck and then he'll show you the shoulder.
Okay.
Once he shows his shoulder, then you would give him a go cue.
Okay.
And the reason you give him a go cue is because you want him to know the difference between, I just want you to point that way, I want your body to change in shape and go that way,
Okay.
but leave, or I do want you to leave.
Okay.
So like I could tell him that I don't want him to leave. By taking my energy down as soon as he thinks to leave. So he's a little bit over his elbows or his knees. I'm just going to go ahead and step in here just to help him because he's thinking back because I've been strong with the backup. So I'm just blocking him. That's why it's tight. So he doesn't back up anymore. And then I'm going to tell him that's it. Because I didn't give him a go cue. Now if I were to have kissed, I would have expected him to carry on.
Okay.
Same, now I would point over there and tell his shoulder to go the other way. You don't have to look where you're pointing, you just pick your spot. And then I might bump his nose and say, here, I'm going to give you a little support and help you know which way I want your nose to turn. And then I need your shoulder to follow that. Yep, I need your shoulder to follow that. And if I can't a little bit, make that line a little bit longer, I'm going to block him from leaving. I'm going to just ask him to cross that foot over. Good. You're okay. You're okay. Yeah. You're doing great. Okay, go this way. So this time I am going to kiss to tell him to move. And I'm going to tell his hind end to stop. Oh, there's a stump there. How about we put a bag on this stump?
A little bit.
Cover the other little stump. Yeah, we'll put 2.
All right. So let me see if I can reposition him then. I would want him.
Oh, that deer fly was just eating on you. I thought that was like debris. I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't know he was just chewing on you.
So I would want him to go back, yield his hind quarters.
Yep, so you could back him up quite a bit and then yield his hindquarters to point him in here.
Okay.
So this is where you can back him up. You keep this distance, but now you together, as he backs up, you go with, but not you go into his space.
Not aggressively.
And turning it into an accordion.
I see.
You're going to stay with the same space between the two of you. So if he doesn't back up, you don't get any closer to him.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead and flip him in the chest and say, excuse me, I'm talking to you. Good, and now just go back to just wiggling. Go back to just wiggling. Yep. Go back to just wiggling. Yep. Now, one more front foot back. Good, see how his chest flexed? Good, so you didn't have to turn it up anymore. Now go step out around and ask for the hind yield. Gently, gently, gently. Don't go too loud. So too much swing was too loud, so he's very sensitive to that. So we want to make sure that we respect his sensitivity and don't dull him out by saying, I only have to turn it up a little bit. Okay, so go ahead and ask him to back up. Yep, I even stare at their chest, don't stare at his face. Okay. So this way, because I'm actually looking for the flex in the chest anyway, so I'll stare there. So it doesn't matter where he's looking. Give yourself a little bit more rope between the two of you, because you can have, if you have more rope, you can influence that snap differently. So go ahead and create a bigger gap between the two of you with the rope. Even more. It's okay, when you backed up, you drew him, and that's okay. So he did what you told him. Yep, so now give him that expression. You're not, you have to give him and give it to his chest. Like, get the chest out of here. Back him up, back, yep, back. Good, good. Yep, and only go together. Don't get in his space anymore. Go one more step, and you stay right where you are. You stay right where you are and make that foot move. Good. Now, okay, good. Now, hind yield. So don't swing the rope, just suggest it. So when it's time, raise your hand. You're going to raise the support. You can keep that hand down towards your belly button. Your leading hand down towards your, and stop, stop, stop. Good. And back. So remember, your job is to keep him out of trouble with the bag. So what I would do is I'd ask him to cross his front over. So the same thing, you'd point at the birdhouse and ask his front feet to cross over and ask. So switch hands. Yep. So this is your leading hand. So you're saying, I'd like your nose to go that way, but you're going to point at the birdhouse. Yep. And then you're going to start, when you take out your support, which is about 12 inches. So there's probably about 18 there. Yep. So you're going to, then you're going to put it out to your side and say, I have this, so it's just a suggestion over here. And then gradually you're going to move it to point, still not influencing, not doing any of this yet. Okay. You're going to point it towards his nose. And then right out here, you're going to tell his nose what to do without actually planning on hitting him in the nose. You should get even that made his nose turn enough that it was, it worked for me. Okay. Once his nose turns, then you're going to watch down his neck, and when you get a chance to influence the shoulder, you're going to put your support then with the intention of, if I have to swing it, I will hit you on the shoulder with it, and then hopefully you don't even have to get to that point. But if you stay right there, the way you would lengthen your hand, you would just open your hand with each swing.
I see. Okay. And I would not move towards him.
Nope. Yep. All of this is the goal is you're going to stay standing right here for the whole thing. Okay, now throw the support a little bit more towards easy. So you want to make it more of a lobbing fan first. So it's all like you want to be able to have a 2 volume with the ability to go to 10. If you start at 8, you don't have very far to go. And then you're going to, yep, good, yep, yep. And then allow it to get tight when he backs up too much. Yep, and drop everything. So he knows not to keep going. You're okay, good job. But yeah, talk to her. Okay, so now we're going to hind yield. Good. There. He was prepared for you to tell him no, right? So I would have so when he respected when you put your hand up and he said, oh, you might say something, then I would have gently said, I would like you to get out of my space. But if he gets in your space as strongly as he gets in your space, I'd be like, get out of my space. And I would make sure that he feels uncomfortable. That he wouldn't want to do that, because if you allow it or move out of his way, that's how the dominant stuff starts to happen. And he's just like, yeah, I'll groom on you, right? And you don't want to be number 2. You want to be number 1.
Okay.
So when he gets wrong and comes at you, you're going to get bigger. That's when you can turn your volume up quicker. There you go. And then turn it down if he's properly responding. So it's going to be, you're going to oscillate between being loud and being quiet. There you go. Yep. Put some focus on his chest.
I'm too close.
Yeah. You only want to step in there when you're getting ready to do something about it. Yep, like there. Yes. And only move together, and in a second you're going to do the card toss.
Okay.
Right? You're going to deal cards.
Right. So now I'm going to turn this.
Nope. You're going to back him up. His nose has to clear the end of the obstacle in order for him to successfully turn out and around.
Okay. All right. So keep going.
Yep. But because he's just learning one step at a time, it's fine. Good. So he's making mistakes, you're going to get louder when he makes that mistake. So that you say, no, that's not what I said there. And then you're going to go quiet again to say, hey, but I do want you to keep backing up from here. So again, you have your line between the two of you is too short. You can't possibly make as much of an influence as you want.
Confusing him because I'm moving and he's
so
coming.
So that's good because you're realizing that you're drawing him. Every time your belly button pulls or your hip pulls away from the horse, they will come with you.
Okay. All right.
So he's, get louder. So this is where the undesirable should be uncomfortable. You didn't want him to come in your space. Yep, and then now you're going to get quiet again to say, and I'd like you to keep backing up, please. So always kind of think of it as, I don't want you to do that, but I'd like you to do that, please. So that way you can practice kind of turning on and off how loud you get. So we're going to ask him to keep getting out of your space. You stop going into his space. Ask him to get out of your space. You stop going into his space.
This is what I find. He looks away. He's not...
Then you step in and flip the chest real quick, and then get back to where you were. Yep, and then get back to where you were instead of following him, because we want him away from you. Get that 1 foot back, and then we'll go ahead and choose a direction. Say, hey, I'm talking to you. Say, hey, I'm talking to you. Yep, and now you get even louder if he comes into your space. Yep, that 1 foot back. Feel good and stop. Good. Now you notice how when you stop, everything goes dead? And that's why I love this kind of equipment, is because now that told him right answer. Because like a cotton line would keep wiggling, it would keep blowing in the wind before it would stop on its own. This is a nice dead weight.